Hello and welcome to Scythe and Shield. I am your host, Dr J Dredscythe, and welcome to another great discussion with another great person. And we'll try to get underneath that BattleTag a little bit, try to figure out more about the people that play this great game that is Diablo. With me, I have a great mind, and well, we won't go there. I'll just say a great mind who I often associate with more than not, agree with more than not, and more often than not winds up being right. So, without any further ado, and without any further hype build-up, because we've had too much of that recently, I'd like to welcome to the show Drothvader. Hello, Droth.
Hey, Dredscythe, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I just trying not to chuckle because when you said a great mind, I thought you were going to go the top mind route and introduce me like
No. We've all seen our fair share of those, haven't we?
Yes. Unfortunately, I was dragged into it without my permission, so
You were dragged beyond your will.
yes.
All right. So well, we're gonna be civil about matters. So I'll just ask, how have you been? How have you been lately? What has been up with you in the past couple of weeks with Diablo 3? Anything cool, awesome? Go to town.
I've been good. Just started dating a new girl, so I haven't had a whole lot of time for Diablo.
Ugh, you got rid of the cyber girlfriend that is Diablo 3 for a real one. I commend you. I commend you.
We're taking a break for a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I've been spending a lot of my free time with her instead. So yeah, the last month or so, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play Diablo, but I have been plugging in here and there in between Heroes of the Storm, which is an awesome game, by the way.
Yes, I have access. I haven't had enough time to play enough. That and now being in Warlords Alpha, it's like too many alphas, too many betas.
Yeah, I can't play Warlords Alpha too because it'll suck me in. Dreaded World of Warcraft.
Well, at least the alpha is free. You don't have to pay for it. But I think that's how they suck you in more. Because like, oh, I don't have to pay for it. Oh, I know everything. Like, I could get that expansion. I could be like a little 90 and well, not 100. Whoops, shows you how long I've been out. I've been out way too long. I've been out for like 2.5 years. So
yeah.
when I went back into the alpha, it was like, whoa, playing a mage is too complicated.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how to play my warlock at all. I had to have someone like just teach me again how to play.
Okay, see, this is exactly what I meant in the introduction. Like, more often than not, I agree with you, but there are sometimes I don't. And that it comes down to a WoW reference. The eternal struggle and war between warlocks and mages. Usually if they work together, it's for the mutual benefit, but they just can't help themselves. They're always fighting each other. Like, ooh, I want green fire. Like, like I still have all my mage personality defects, prejudices, and prides from WoW. It's like it's part of me now. I can't stop it.
I was originally a druid, but yeah. Then I went to the dark side.
At least it's not Hearthstone, where they're dirty druids.
Druids are really overpowered. I love druids. A mid-range druid is freaking amazing.
Yeah, I haven't played Hearthstone in a while, just because I'm like, well, this game got way too above me way too quickly. It's like if I try playing now, I don't know if I'd be angry or just like cry in a corner, like like what's going on? Like, how did I tie in one hit? Like, there were so many cards played. There's not enough like past card history to let me know. I'm scared, mommy.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yeah, but all right. So yeah, so our for people who don't know, the main topic for today, hopefully this will kind of be like a part 1-ish type deal. I have somebody in mind for part 2 to kind of take a more lore-ish approach. Haven't reached out to that specific person yet, but I'm hoping everything will work out. So,
Will they fit on a pool table?
Maybe. You're clever. But yeah, because I figured this is about the right time to start doing, the patch 2.1 and beyond, because I think everyone was going. Everyone just wanted seasons, like just pounding it away. I remember being in the fan site interview last year at BlizzCon. It was about 14 of us just giving questions. I think it was Flux from Diablo Inc. Gamers who asked who asked about seasons or ladders in 3 different ways. Somebody asked about ladders in 2 different ways, and this was after like the big opening, and like a couple of QAs were like, "Yeah, we like ladders," or it's like, people just are relentless. So I give Josh Mascara and all the props for just messing with the community about ladders, going to Home Depot, and even with as recently as E3 posting, "Hey, a ladder!" Like, Josh, you're joshing us. Oh, okay, this is too much punny. So
He's a dirty troll.
Yeah, yes, but he's a troll we can live with. He's one of our trolls. We claim him. IR troll, give me a roll. Wait, what? A roll is a roll. A toll is a toll. If we don't get no tolls, we don't get no rolls. Okay, I think I did that right. Just a little Robin Hood Men in Tights trivia for you folks. Alright, so before we get too tangenty on this probably way too tangenty episode, I can predict right now. Let's get the segment 1. We did that already. Let's get segment 2 out of the way. The interview part. So, let's get started because I've already talked too much for my own making. Where did your name Drothvader come from? Any history behind it, or was it like random name? Oh, that looks good.
There is quite a history. It all started back in World of Warcraft. So my very first character was a Night Elf Druid, and I wanted like a Night Elf type name, like Druidy type name. So I named my Druid Millandroth because I thought it was kind of elvish a little bit. Over time, people just started calling me Droth. They would just, how people are. When you're online, you just shorten names. Mm-hmm. So I adopted the name Droth, and I just started naming all of my characters after like stupid little references with the word Droth in them. So I had like Drothula, and I had Drothazilla, and I had Drothgasmic, and then I had Drothvader, just Fussrow Droth, Drothicus, just a bunch of really, really dumb names with the word Droth in it. And it was around like tier 6. So I used to be a druid tank. Blizzard kind of screwed druid tanks back then, and I ended up being a glorified back scratcher. So I'm like, screw this. If I'm just gonna like play a DPS and not really do any DPS, I'm gonna play a real DPS class. So I went with my like little baby gnome druid, or not gnome druid, gnome warlock, Drothvader, and I started leveling him up, and he was my new main because one button spam Shadow Bolt and win, and it was great. So that's the origin of my name. It was a bunch of stupid names, and I just happened to pick a class that had a stupid name.
I love people's history and their names. It's always so interesting. All right, I forgive you for your warlockiness.
I just, I always forget that it's a Star Wars reference too, and I'm like, people call me Star Wars kid. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, that's why. Yeah, that's where you're getting that from.
It's like, oh, I can't blame you because you're actually right, even though it's not intended. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Next question on the list is how old are you, if you dare, and do you have a profession, work, or a study?
So I'm 28 years old because I'm older than dirt right now. Unlike I could go the Simcoe route and I could say I'm 20 years or 28 years young. But no, I'm too old for this. I'm 28. A lot of people are probably like in their 50s, like shut the hell up. But
I'm a year older. I got you beat by 1.
but yeah, I'm 28. I work as my official job is like escalation, but if I say escalation, people won't know what I'm talking about. So I'm basically a master troubleshooter. People break stuff and I fix it. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
So
my
yeah,
first sort of escalation is like I'm gonna quit my Cablevision bill. Like escalation department, like and then it kind of becomes its own pun, like that escalated quickly. Oh sorry. They're coming too quickly. Alright, so the next one is what was your first time seeing and or playing Diablo? If you have a good story for both or just one.
So my first ever Diablo experience was when I went into my aunt and uncle's PlayStation 1 stash of games that I wasn't allowed to play when I was young because they were like adult, quote unquote adult, or whatever. So in there I found like Castlevania Symphony of the Night and then Diablo and a bunch of other games, and like, hey, this is a cool game killing demons. So that was my first experience, was on the PlayStation 1, filling up my entire memory card, all 15 slots, playing Diablo. And then, I didn't play it that much, just, when I was over there. After that, I didn't really have a PC. Like, up until 2006, I had a Pentium 166 with like a 1 gig hard drive and maybe 64 megabytes of RAM. So
the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days with my crappy PC that didn't even have a DVD or a CD burner.
God. Flashbacks of Windows 3.11.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I doubt it could have even played Diablo. But after I graduated high school and got a real job and started buying my own stuff, I bought a $4,000 PC and I started playing World of Warcraft. I went out. Actually, it started because I watched that Make Love Not Warcraft episode, and I'm like, that game looks awesome. I want to go play it. So I started playing World of Warcraft the day after that episode aired. So yeah, I started playing World of Warcraft, and then when I got bored with that, I went to the store and I'm like, hey, Blizzard makes Diablo 2. Let me just pick it up and play it. So I played Diablo 2 off and on, when I was bored with WoW and when I wasn't raiding. So I didn't play Diablo 2 like super hardcore.
Yeah, but it was also out for what, like a decade, so off and on could still be a lot in that span of time.
Yeah, it was somewhere around like 200, 300 hours that I'd put into the game. I did beat Hell on a Necromancer. So, I did play it. I just didn't play it. I played it unpatched, and that was it. I didn't go online. I didn't do any runs or anything. I just played the game to play it.
Yeah.
So then I didn't get back into Diablo until I was invited to the Diablo 3 beta, and I started playing it. I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome, because it, had a really good combat model, and around that time, real life kind of like just chokeslammed me, and I wasn't able to raid anymore. So I was able to get sort of like this epic gaming experience out of D3, and that's when I started committing all my time to Diablo 3. It's right around the time, life said, no, you're not playing WoW anymore.
Yeah, I think we all had that experience one way or another. Like you just want to continue playing, but somehow, some way, life just says, no, move on.
Yeah. You're done.
Like, just look at it in the rearview mirror. It'll be much easier that way.
Yeah, so Diablo is a game that I can just pick up and play anytime that I want. I don't have to rely on other people to play it. The whole in-game experience I can do solo, and that's really what just hooked me onto Diablo 3 and kept me playing it.
Yeah. Great story. All right. And the second to last one is now, since you've actually played Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 and now Diablo 3 and the Reaper of Souls, from the first moment till now, what has kept you going through the years playing this series? Because there are very few games that have spanned this length of time with such a following. So, what would you say has kept you going?
I really like the dark atmosphere. It feels great killing hordes of demons. And I know that sounds like a noob answer, but that's really why I like Diablo. I love the lore, I love the atmosphere. I love all of the classes that I've played, like summoning undead and everything as a necromancer. It was just fun.
No, I'm with you. Hacking and slashing is always great. I not lying here, and people are usually much better than I think they're going to be to the answer, or when I say this. But I didn't play Diablo 1. I probably played about 30 hours of Diablo 2. And people are like, how could you ever? It's like, because you take the game for what it is, but it's like, I'm kind of the same way with StarCraft. StarCraft was my entry into Blizzard gaming, and I just love the story, the lore, but really just how human it can seem when you take in, like, okay, this is like corporal sector of a galaxy, so it's a whole entire sector of a galaxy with these three very individual races that you can barely make out at times, but you can see it through the characters. And I cannot tell you, at this BlizzCon, I want Legacy of the Void to be announced. I just want to see the Protoss like warp in with like a mega carrier or mothership hybrid and just start annihilating stuff. Like I can just see the Protoss like kick ass and take names. Like if they just get Ire back, it's like I have that feeling. It's like I have that connection. So I totally feel you and how you've been throughout the years with Diablo, because I'm kind of the same way with StarCraft. Even if I buy the game, play single player once on like normal, and then I never play the game again, that's good enough for me, because I just want that story experience so badly.
And that's how I treated D1 and D2. I just played it just to play it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started playing D3 when I was like, okay, I gotta start doing some in-game stuff, because at that time I'd had all that in-game experience from World of Warcraft, and it kind of bled over and changed my view of what a Blizzard game actually was.
Mm-hmm.
This whole in-game grind it out, play it for years experience. Like I played WoW for 9 years.
Well, I give you props for lasting 9 years and not losing your sanity.
Well, 9 years off and on, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah. All right, and this may come off as a loaded question. We'll try to keep this. In fact, this question is a little bit harder. We have to kind of keep this one probably a little bit on the shorter end, because this actually kind of bleeds over to the main topic a little bit. But for now, going forward, with Diablo 3 coming out, what, a year ago? No, 2 years ago. Just over 2 years ago. And now Reaper of Souls coming out only a few months ago, even though it seems like forever. What's your biggest hope for the franchise going forward and beyond?
My biggest hope is that I will actually, be motivated to want to log in and play it. Like, I want to be sitting at work and thinking to myself, God, I cannot wait until I get home so I can go and play this game and get my fix. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I'll get addicted to it to that point where I feel like I have to go in and play it. So that's my hope.
Yes. I will duly note that for a that because really at the end of the day, I think, you know, people say like, oh, I want PvP, I want this, but you know what, I really do agree. I mean, they could throw everything in the kitchen sink into the game, but if you don't want to log in and play the game, then it really is all for naught. So
Yeah. I want goals, you know, and I want to show progress when I'm, you know, completing those goals.
I've had a life altering moment with Diablo just now. Like I just want to be motivated to play. It's like it's that simple. I like that.
It really is just that simple.
Alrighty. Before I dwindle too much on that, so that concludes the actual interview part. Now we will move over quickly to what I dub the best of times, worst of times segment. This is a rapid fire question. I'll ask you 8. So 8 quick questions, hopefully 8 quick responses, and then we'll get to that nice juicy fat topic at the end. And we'll have plenty of discussion when we get there. So, first question. What is your favorite class of any of the Diablo game series?
Hands down, probably the wizard. I love the wizard. I just wish they didn't suck. I love the wizard.
See,
I mean, I'm just happy when I play the wizard.
See, Nevik would be glad to hear you on that one. Sorry, Brazia and Antonio. Share Soulstone, I plug them unintentionally everywhere. Yay, professionalism or not. What kind of going along with that? What's your favorite character build from any of the Diablo game series?
My favorite character build?
Yeah, like the actual build, not the character.
Well, I'm assuming you mean like skills and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I love the build that I'm playing now, which people look at it and they're like, "You're a scrub. Why are you playing this build?" But it's just pure lightning, and I love just throwing lightning everywhere. Like my entire screen just lights up with lightning damage, and basically, I guess it's a variant of what people call the trampoline build, where you use Wave of Force. And I use that one, I forget what it's called, like static something that debuffs the enemies with extra lightning damage that they take.
Okay. I see where you're going. Yeah. No.
I mean, I have so much lightning going everywhere. Like I've got my my Thunder God's Vigor, my Fulminator, and then I've got.
Oh God.
It's just lightning everywhere, and I'm like happy talking about it.
You are your own electrified affix.
Yes.
Alright.
It's not viable, but it's a lot of fun.
No, I'm with you. No, that's how my wizard was before I started getting all the nice set pieces, but I still want to make a third wizard and make it and keep the electrified lightning build going. But moving on, what was your most anticlimactic legendary item identification?
My most anticlimactic?
Like, oh my god, I got one. Oh my god, it's shit.
You know, there's a lot of those moments, and they happen quite frequently. Pretty much like every time I get a set item, and then I ID it, and I'm like, it's another button. You know? Or, say for instance, I got my Firebird's Talons, and they rolled with just the most awful affixes that you could possibly have, and I think that was probably the most anticlimactic moment I had, was when I got those Firebird's Talons.
Yeah. Well, I agree. But the thing is, Blackthorns, I don't know if it's like a common thing, but we just call them Troll Thorns. And in like the group that I play with, because it's like, yes, I got a set item. Oh, it's just Troll Thorns. Like, people are like on a razor thin margin if they're actually ever going to identify them or just shard them out of spite. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, 2-piece bonus is really good, but the rest of it,
it's a little much.
Yeah.
All right, going quickly to the next one. if you had to fight in one of these areas again, which one would you want to fight in? Heaven or hell again?
Heaven or hell? I don't think we actually fought in hell. We went to the core of Ariat. You know, we never actually went to the burning hells in this game.
Well, I'm taking it from the whole Diablo series as a general. You know, everything. But if you had to
I thought you meant just Diablo 3. Yeah, I'd love to fight in hell.
Yeah, I wanna go there.
Just a fire and brimstone type of guy. So
my EB wizard would be at home. Now this is actually a new one added to the list just recently. Have you gotten your Ring of Royal Grandeur yet?
I did when I was level 67,
Oh.
and I haven't gotten one since.
Oh, well, at least 67.
Yeah,
it's not like 26.
So if I look at it, it has the worst stats. It's got intelligence, area damage, life on hit, and a socket. It's not worth equipping.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
It's terrible.
you have hope. There's always hope.
But you know what? It's so overpowered. It probably still is an upgrade if I just craft the other sets.
Yes. Stacking sets does tend to balance everything out.
Yep.
What's the one item that if you could just go poof and have it on any character, what would it be?
Probably the Shard of Hate.
Shard of Hate. Shard of Hate. Sorry, I got stuck in like a little ritual talking. Shard of Hate. Shard of Hate. It's like you almost have like a little ritual to try to summon it. I mean, like that. Like you see one person in your clan get it, and then it like disappears from your clan roster. Anyone getting it for like a month.
Yeah, I must have seen like every weapon already except for a Shard of Hate and a Thunder Fury, and they're both supportive of my Lightning build, and it's driving me nuts that I can't get either one of them.
Yeah. Same here. Same boat. Haven't seen a Thunder Fury, haven't seen a Shard of Hate. I got a Wonder Blood, so I'm happy about that. So that means I get nothing for a month.
Yeah.
Alright, and lastly, if you could have any of the followers from Diablo 3 in real life, that being the Templar, the Scoundrel, or the Enchantress, which one would it be?
Well, I could give you a really dirty answer, or I could give you a clean answer. Let's just go with the Scoundrel because I don't know. I need a good laugh.
Yeah.
I need someone to constantly remind me of how bad my life is. I think that would just help me tremendously.
Be like the most worst wingman ever.
Yeah, he could motivate me by demotivating me. Like make me feel so bad that I just want to go out and do something better.
Be like, oh god, no, we're not gonna go there. Like, too many thoughts, too many images. No, we won't go there. All right. So we've traveled through. We've mustered through the rapid fire questions.
All right.
And now we are finally to the main topic of discussion, which is patch 2.1, which is going to be introducing tiered rifts and seasons, formerly known as ladders. Seasons, formerly known as ladders. It's like the game mode, formerly known as ladders. It's like Prince. It's like a weird thing there. And also looking beyond, because as I think we were talking before we started the podcast, it's like, okay, people wanted this, and now they're getting it, and now, wait, what's coming after? Like, I feel there's this big black hole, and not from a wizard, just, a black void of, wait, what are we getting after this? And it's like, we know PvP is not coming. It's like,
yeah, ever.
Good, wait, crap. Like, wait, is this one of those be careful what you wish for because you just might be get it moments? Like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
But before we get there, let's stick with, the former first. So, patch 2.1 is going to introduce tiered rifts and seasons. Seasons are, again, as you said, formerly known as ladders. There'll be leaderboards, I think, for, the region, for your clan, for any kind of grouping or category probably you could think of with your friends and all that like fun stuff. They'll probably go to town.
So you can build a better bot.
Yeah, essentially. Who can build a better bot? Yep. This is like going to be like the weird Diablo bot wars like they had on Comedy Central all those years ago. Robot Wars, whatever. And also the tiered rifts, which are essentially going to be a somewhat modified yet still random rift that will be more or less random to other rifts of the such. And with the first live Theory Crafting Thursday just taking place yesterday, we got a little bit more insight, so good timing on our part for getting this done after the fact. They said that basically the tiered rifts, they're going to kind of homogenize the monsters, so there's not the big overbearing executioners or the Anks, or Anks arcs, whatever they are, compared to you're like, oh, you just stare at them and they die, like low health minions. They're gonna try to balance them out, so there's not this weird health and damage gap. They're also gonna try to kind of make it the same density. They're just trying to make them so they're as balanced as they can be, but still leaving a little bit too random, because this is a action RPG game and RNG still is God to everything in this game, so they don't want to take that out of it, but they want to kind of reduce it, some manner of speaking, as well as they're going to leave conduit pylons and all the other pylons in there, but we all know how fabulous conduit pylons can be, so they're going to kind of lessen their power, so they're not like, oh, you get it, and then you're number one just because you got lucky with a conduit pylon. They're going to try to take that a little bit of randomness out of there. Still want you to have that thrill, so you still can actually put some strategy into your play, rather than just making it who has the most damage dealing, who can just do it the quickest, as well as other things. And the last little big thing that we knew is, correct me if I'm wrong, but they said they're going to be removing items from all the monsters that you kill, but if you get to the boss, basically it's going to be like Loot Pinata 2.0, we doubled it, and then we said we doubled that, and then we doubled it one more time, because we just wanted you to go ooh and ah at this giant Loot Pinata that lags you so hardcore you actually you crash the program. And you're like that. You miss all those everywhere. You miss all those legendaries as the beams come up and all that fun stuff. So that's what we know up till yesterday about both seasons and tiered rifts. So with everything I've said, first up, what's your outlook on we'll probably stick to tiered rifts and seasons. You can tackle either one first, but what's your outlook on both, if you could give your personal opinion?
Okay, so first of all, I am like giddy with excitement that someone actually wants to talk about 2.1 with me, because I've been trying to get people to talk about it for weeks and nobody wants to talk to me about it. But I am super excited for tiered rifts. It's something I've wanted since the first month of Diablo. I've wanted an endless dungeon for a long time, and this is pretty much the endless dungeon. Like, when we were at the launch party and Wyatt, started talking about tiered rifts, I just yelled at the top of my lungs like, yes, add this thing. And then after I was talking to Josh Mascara a little bit later, I'm like, so you're gonna add it tomorrow, right? his response was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So I am super excited for them. As far as seasons goes, I think seasons are going to be great for tiered rifts, but I'm not excited for seasons just for a season. It's a reset button. That's basically about it, and then a race for who can build a better bot.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that element to the game. And something I did forget to mention, we will be getting season legendaries, and those legendaries, once the season ends, will become part of the normal softcore and hardcore drop pool.
Yep.
So the benefit of playing a
And-
season is that if you get it first, and you get the transmog. But the only question I have left is, if you get the transmog on your season character, will that transfer over immediately to your softcore or hardcore character? Which would be pretty awesome, because it would signify that yes, you do play seasons, and yes, you did get that item. But I'm wondering how that's going to work. That's more of a technical
That's a good question.
thing. That's like a technical question. That's not just a, oh, I assume yes or I assume no.
So yeah, from what Blizzard was talking about, they're not sure how they're going to handle it, but the idea is when the season ends, that character is going to be playable on the non-season, game. So, like, if you build up a Crusader and you play it through the season, get it to level 70, get all the sweet gear and everything in your stash, that stuff's going to transfer over to the non-season, and you're going to be able to play with it immediately on the non-season. And you're going to keep those characters and everything. So, I'm guessing it'll probably be one of your either 12 or 15 characters that you get to play. I don't know how they're going to handle the stash logistically, but that's a good question for the transmogs. I would imagine they're probably going to come over because the loot's going to come over as well.
Yeah. I can also imagine that's why they just got rid of the legendary crafting mats, because stash space is going to be quite a tricky issue now.
There were a couple of reasons. I don't think stash space was probably one of the bigger ones, though, but it's a good thing that, they got rid of it for that reason.
Yeah. Alright, so, yeah, because my personal opinions on the matter, it's one to let you go first as the guest. My personal thing is, I'm actually getting more excited for TRFs than seasons, I would say. I think seasons are more of a black and white. Either you love them and you're going to do them until the day the servers are shut down, or you're going to be like, I'll do it once, and then just to do it, and then like if there's any achievements associated with it, and then you'll be like, okay, back to normal. But I think tiered rifts are that nice little medium, because they're not limited, they're not a separate mode, kind of like seasons are, where you have to kind of wait for it, or it's this long progression to have a satisfactory effort to get that feeling. I think tiered rifts are much more quick acting, and I think will only make you strive to make your character better. Because you say, okay, I could do Torment 6. Okay, what's now? Okay, no, can I get past the 5th freaking level of this tiered rift that I have not been able to get past for 10 times? Alright, like, hey, like, Bobby, and, like, Billy, and Harry, just making up names. Like, log on, let's see if we can do this, let's try to figure out a strategy. It's like, tiered rifts are introducing very simple concepts, like strategy, group composition, ability composition of each character within the group. You're going to see some. I hope we see actually not just individual character builds, but group builds. Like this character with this build, this character with this build, this character with this build, etc. Can be like really can like really handle the CC and really get up to like this, should be able to get up to like this tiered level like 5 easily.
Yep.
While another one like can get up to 6, but you have to have much better gear. This one can get up to 7, but you have to have like the best of the best at that point, and so on and so forth. Like, it would be very cool to finally see a Blizzard game where it's not just about the individual, but it's about the group. Because then that brings in elements of like, okay, I have to get in with a group, and I have to do this, that, and the third. It would lend itself to the clan and the community system that they put in place, and just make it that much more important. So,
yep.
I have I have high hopes because they seem like they've been taking their quote unquote sweet ass time, but I think it's for the benefit of us as the players. God, I guess like the last thing that's kind of lingering is just like what are the bosses gonna drop? It's like if they're saving everything for the boss, and I mean, you see goblins sometimes they drop like 20 things. Rift Guardians can drop like 30 things when you calculate the gold drops. Is it gonna be like you just kill the boss and it's like, oh, here's like 5 legendaries, 15 rares, 5 blues, because that's just how it works now. Don't ask me why. Like, no, I need more blues. I need more arcane dust, man.
So
and like 50,000 gold and like a couple blood shards to boot. I mean, like, how's this gonna work? Like, what are your guesses?
So I'm hoping, and this is me hoping, that everything that would have normally dropped in the Rift would just drop on the boss instead. So I hope it's not like some separate thing. Like, say for instance, you run through the Rift and you get like 5 or 6 legendaries in that Rift, and you know all the blues. The same thing you were saying. Just instead of it dropping and being a distraction, since tiered rifts are timed in, you know, they're competitive in that way. You don't want to backtrack to go pick up a legendary. Then it becomes a dilemma of, you know, do I pick up the gear or do I ignore it so I can get a better score? So that's the reason why they're not dropping loot. It's because it's too much of a distraction, and why it's going to the Rift Guardian instead. So I'm hoping that pretty much the Rift Guardian drops the entire Rift's worth of loot. I think that's how it'll work. If it's done correctly, that's how it'll work.
That would be simple and novel. Like, for everything you kill, that just gets... Ooh, you know what would be even just a tiny bit of a tweak to that, but it would be interesting, is if they somehow made it to where, exactly how you said, like, somehow the drops that would normally drop off the monsters get tied to the Rift Guardian. So if you can imagine, like, every monster has a very thin wire, invisible wire connected to the Rift Guardian, and every time you kill a monster, that wire is severed, and overroll happens on the Rift Guardian. So it can be any item, and it can roll anything.
Right.
And when you get to the Rift Guardian, everything has already been pre-rolled for you, and then it just drops. So you can get like 20 legendaries, 30 legendaries. Oh, you could have like, oh my god, that would be too cool. I mean, that's too cool for Blizz. I mean, you don't know. I mean, the Diablo 3 team over the last 2 years, year to year and a half has really surprised me with their speed of implementing ideas, the creativity of the ideas, and just trying to like bring the game from like the depths of hell itself and bringing it back into the light and making it the game and really making it shine and really making it the end all be all action RPG that it is. And as much as to say, I don't say it's gonna happen. Come on, Blizz. You know people just want to have like loading lag when they see like 20 beams shoot in front of them, and like they're all set items somehow, and they're all troll thorns. so you have 5 complete sets of black thorns, and you're like,
Well,
okay, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, I'll take that one, and then I have 20 Forgotten Souls. Like, all right, at least I have 20 Forgotten Souls.
as far as Troll Thorns is concerned, they did recently change it so that every legendary is weighted exactly the same. So you have an equal chance of getting Black Thorns as you do, like, say, Veers or Tal Rasha or Innas or whatever set you're going for, a Khan. So it's not Troll Thorns anymore.
Well, it was last night when I spent like 200 blood shards on a chest trying to get the Veers chest and still got another Blackthorns chest. Thank you, Blackthorn Surcoat. How I hate thee. But I will take your word for it, and I will not run to the forums.
I think I've found like 31 Blackthorns pants.
Oh god, it's always the pants. It's always
and
the
then
pants.
maybe like 1 belt and 2 boots, but like 31 Blackthorns pants.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is sometimes. especially when fellow clanmates are having like the night of their lives, and you just see like weird set item after another set item, and it's like legendary, and it's like, what? Like, share the
Why
love,
can't they
man.
be me?
Like, dude, you have like an opening in your game. You do, okay, I'm joining. Like, why? It's like, because whatever you don't want, I do. Okay. But I'm strength and you're a wizard. I don't care. You know, like, I still want it. I want some of that shiny luck to rub off.
Just give me your rabbit's foot for a few minutes and
yeah, like really, like give me the horseshoe that's so wedged so far up your ass, but it's so golden and shiny. Like no, anyways, so that's with everything that they're gonna do in 2.1. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's gonna be an actual addition, another quote unquote mode, I guess you could say, the challenge mode that we have. That hopefully they elaborate on. I mean, they could always add on to it, add new things, but saying they could add new things and yet we're going to be in this weird gray area. Like, we're so focused on tiered rifts and seasons, like what's after? Because when I thought about it, I mean, as I normally do, especially when BlizzCon is happening, going, alright, it's like beginning of June. And Josh kind of teased, like, summerish for the PTR, which would have made it either today or a week from now, because summer starts next Saturday, and if they hold to that, because PTRs, if you don't know, are usually a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday kind of deal. They're usually off couple days from the regular Blizzard maintenance cycle, for those who are listening at home.
I think they're usually Thursdays. That's when the alpha days are.
Yeah, they're Thursdays. Sometimes they do it on Fridays. No, Hearthstone, they launched it on a Friday. That was a very awesome, exciting, and panicky Friday, I'll tell you that much. Especially getting in and then instantly live streaming and giving away keys. Very hectic, but very fun and exciting. But, so, you know, let's just guess that if the PTR drops next Friday, that's mid-June, figure it'll be in there for at least a month, for a solid month of testing. You know, almost do like the first mini season of like a month or a month and a week. So that puts us, you know, a good way into July. Figure the first season would start August, somewhere around. That's already the 8th month, and BlizzCon is the 11th. So, and Gamescom, if I remember correctly, is either the end of August or beginning October, and that's Gamescom is usually where like the BlizzCon hype starts. So, as we contemplate this, I'll sum up my thoughts, and then you'll be able to carry on with whatever your thoughts are.
I have so many thoughts going on in my head right now.
Yeah, it's like, I almost think that there may not be anything the first 3 months, and whatever we're going to get is going to be at BlizzCon. And my thoughts are, either we're going to get out of the blue PvP, out of the blue content we never knew we thought we wanted until it was given to us, or we're given an expansion announcement really out of left field, even though the more I think about it, the more appropriate it feels. Even though it still feels too soon, it kind of feels appropriate in a weird way, because it's not WoW. It's an RPG. It goes much faster, has a much faster pace, has a much faster progression to it. So an expansion wouldn't be too far out of the blue. It just, even though it still feels too soon, that's what I feel. So either like PvP out of the blue, new modes we didn't know we want coming out of the blue, or expansion out of the blue, or we can get completely nothing and we just have seasons here for like another year and a half. So I'll release the mic to you for your thoughts and opinions on the matter.
Wow, just where to begin? Like, I am super excited for tiered rifts. Like, I cannot formulate a coherent sentence to describe how excited I am for tiered rifts. What am I going to talk about? There's just so much to talk about. Help me out here. Give me a point me in a direction. I'll just start wandering off in that direction.
Okay. Tiered Rifts and all that come out, and we're thinking about what's coming out next. Arena dueling, but actually proper dueling. Maybe even team deathmatch. Oh my god.
I don't know. I'm not that big on PvP, but that'd be a lot of fun if it was balanced, but probably it won't be. Or even unbalanced, I don't know. You got brawling. So.
And brawling is fun. Brawling is fun if they could make it something other than just one hitting. Oh my god, just to go in there now with the wizard. Like the elemental, it's like you have like meteors going everywhere. It's like, yeah, I'm covered. Like, what? Oh shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid PvP would be if they ever added it. So I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's an enigma because we can't really formulate, because PvP is like the last big thing that kind of was in the game that isn't there yet, but I think everyone's kind of gotten over it, so it's kind of hard to talk about the enigmatic after seasons. I mean, it really does kind of boil down to there's content waiting in the wings that is been locked under a secure door, like the next WoW expansion that we don't know about until it's been trademarked and then we know everything about it. Or I mean, like what would constitute like a next expansion? I mean, it's like, I guess we could kind of bleed into like the ending sequence where spoilers, I mean, we've been playing this since March, so if you haven't beaten it, I won't say you're slow, but come on, get back on that horse. Or ride that pony to the sunset and kick Mathal's ass. But spoilers for those who haven't. You beat Mathal. He, at the halfway point, roughly, he absorbs the Black Soul Stone and still can't whoop your ass because you just kind of wave your fist at Mathal and then he kind of, curls up to a ball and just explodes, and all the spirits that he is made from just kind of go away. And then you go through like, oh wait, history repeats itself. Black Soul Stone held all seven lords of hell. The Soul Stone was shattered, put in Mathal, and then again vaporized when he killed Mathal. So now, you just reset hell, and all the like Diablo and all of them are now loose again. Great job, Mathal. You kind of just go, okay, so the seven lords of hell are now free to roam, and I kind of agree with certain personalities that if like the next baddie we're gonna fight, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be as it was perceived in the not so cinematic. It's going to be us fighting ourselves. I mean, they may try to do a more play on that, where we have to try to keep
the
ourselves
whole world's against us.
Yeah, like
maybe we
like,
play as the bad guy.
Blizzard could do it, but it would be interesting. Everyone's kind of go with like the next higher up baddie would be like the reforming of Talmec, if I'm saying it right.
Tophamet? I don't know how you pronounce it. You're talking about the primeval?
The seven-headed Hydra dragon.
Yeah.
That was the true prime. The alpha prime compared to the beta prime that was Diablo and all of them, the separate. That would be interesting if we would fight them. And it kind of leads to curious things like, would Mathal come back, but as like his normal mentally stable self? Would the Edgear's console then kind of be made whole, or would like a new come back? Like it kind of leads like weird things, but those are all like lore discussions. There's like when you go in the gameplay modes and everything, like what are we gonna get next? You're kind of scratching your head. I mean, is there anything you could think of from Diablo 1 or Diablo 2 that were in there that could come back, or do we really have all that we know of and we're just kind of waiting for Blizzard to wow us? No pun intended.
I think we pretty much, we've fought every evil so far. I mean, I don't really think there's much left to fight other than rehashing, the same old story again. But
I correct me if I'm wrong, because I had to quickly get up to speed on the lore through like wikis and through other people's podcasts. But did we ever fight? I'm sorry if I chop up her name. I'm gonna say Lilith, or basically the main demon along that helped make Sanctuary. Have you ever actually fought her, or was all the times that we fought her, or she was fought and sent to the Void, that was all in like books and lore and stuff like that?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since I played the other games.
Yeah,
I'm not a big lore guy. I mean, I like the lore. I'm just not like, that's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, because I don't think we've actually ever fought her. I think it's always been in the books, like the Sin War and everything like that, like all like Diablo 1 stuff. I think, but it would be interesting if she made a return. And even though we killed Adria, you never know with her. Like, really, I mean, she kind of threw herself into the blood pit. So you still don't know if she's actually dead. It's like this weird thing in Sanctuary. It's like a cartoon. You don't know if anyone's actually dead.
Yeah. They're like the X-Men. They just keep coming back to life.
Timelines and time travel. Ugh, like no one's actually dead. They just went away. Like they took a bathroom break for a really long time. But yeah, it's like I can't envision anything. I mean, there were ideas like this infinite tower that you scaled up and got progressively harder, but it's essentially tiered rifts now, so we have that. Like
the Pandemonium Fortress was really, really cool idea.
Yeah, and then we had like the traditional like zombie wave mode, which would still be a pretty cool thing to do. I mean, because everyone loves Jar Souls, and then they kind of rehashed it a couple of times inside the Pandemonium Fortress area with like different versions of it. Just making it like a team thing where it'd be like completely PvE based, and it would kind of lend itself to a tiered rift. It would just be a quicker, down and dirtier version where like you went in and you could have like it could be like Chaldeum, and you have like a barker announcing, you have a crowd watching, and you just go against like waves of like local plant life. Like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you see like real ponies come out instead of like all these weird flowery things that look like real horses, but they are like Pegasus and everything, and just come at you. You have like griffins come out in another wave, and then you have like beasts, and they have these weird abomination like dragon looking things come out, and it's just like this continuous mob set and groupings. That I think would play well, and if like depending on the abilities, it would be kind of be hate to draw the WoW equivalent, but the what they introduced in BC, that was always such a joy to do on PvP servers. The like mini arena, battle arena quest line where you'd face like 6 or 7 bosses, and it was a great way to get quick experience, a lot of gold, and a decent item at the end. Something like that. But just more of it, and just more epic rewards would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to with tiered rifts, are probably the rewards. So like, most people play the game now, and it's all about efficiency. If you're not playing efficiently, then you're doing it wrong, and you're dumb, or whatever.
That dirty word.
I don't like that. I hate that. It's boring to me. I hate just clicking everything and it instantly dies, and that's the best thing I could possibly do. So that's why I'm looking forward to tiered rifts. If they do the rewards correctly, then I can have some challenging content. And as long as I'm at least somewhere in the ballpark of the same rewards as they are, then I'm going to be happier than anybody, because I get to finally play a challenging game with adequate rewards. And you're not forced into playing the challenging game, because you can, just click things or whatever people do and get the same amount of rewards. So I think having that option there is probably one of the things that I like the most about what's coming.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm coming around to tier rifts. Like the first thought was like, yeah, but I'm like, you know what? I think tiered rifts will be my middle ground between playing, you know, softcore, hardcore, what have you, and you know, leaving your progression and starting anew on a season. I think tiered rifts will be my calling. You know, finding people to play with and just chugging it out, try to be the best you can be.
I think it's absolutely necessary. I think it's going to fundamentally. This is why I'm so excited about it, by the way. I think it's going to fundamentally shift the game away from, you know, you do loads of damage and kill it before it gets to you, and that's how you play the game. You get gear so you can get gear faster, just so you can have the bragging rights of saying, hey, I've got all of these nice stats or whatever. Whereas you go into tiered rifts and things like vitality actually matter. Like my wizard, I was balancing her offense and defense, and you know, people were like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you like the top 1,000 toughness wizards in the world? That's unnecessary. Stop that. You're not doing it right. And in my mind, it's like, okay, well, this is the kind of gameplay that I'm going to have to adopt when the tiered rifts come out, because I'm going to have to survive them, and it's not going to be all about DPS. It's going to be how far can you get and how much can you maximize the gear that you have. So like, probably going to go off on a little tangent here, but a little bit of story time. Back about 2 years ago.
Okay, tangent allowed.
Okay, I promise. Like I told you earlier, just tell me, just shut up, Droth, and I'll stop talking. But so one of the best things people do on the forums to invalidate your argument is they'll pull up your profile and they'll look at it and be like, hey, you're a scrub, you've only got blah 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 Paragon, elite kills bro, or you know, your gear sucks or whatever. So one day I was having a discussion with someone and they brought up my character and they're like, your barbarian sucks, you can't do anything. And then they noticed, well, hey, why does it show that you've completed Act 2 Inferno? It's like, your gear can't do that. That's impossible. You cheated. So I'm like, okay. So I went and started streaming it. I'm like, hey, come watch my stream, see how far I get. And I had like, I think 8k DPS and 19k health, and it was really pathetic. But I'm going through it, and I started at the beginning of Act 2, and I'm going up, and the guy's like, oh, okay, I guess yeah, your build that really sucks is actually doing something, and you know, you're not dying all the time, and you're progressing. Okay, yeah, let's see how far you can get. I bet you can't go further. So I killed Belial, and I started going through Act 3, and I got to like the second half, you know, where the guys like wave their hand up from the snow.
The pestilence.
Those guys.
The harborers of pestilence, or the
Heralds of
I know.
Pestilence.
Yes, heralds of pestilence. I know.
Yes,
yeah,
I hate those
torture
things.
guys.
But that's when the game starts getting hard. Back in old Inferno days, which I miss. I miss the Inferno progression. But I'll set that aside for now. It's just okay. I'll live with tiered rifts. If you give me tiered rifts, I'll get over the whole changing of the difficulty model. But anyway, so I was going through the core variant, and I got to Sadea, and I had, like I said, 8k DPS and 19k health, and that was not nearly enough to kill Sadea. So I wiped on Sadea probably about 15 times, and I literally ran myself out of gold. I had no gold, and the people were like, well, now you're just rage quitting, and you're such a loser, you can't even kill Sadea. And it's like, look, I pretty much maximized what I could possibly do with the little bit of gear that I had. And that's what I'm looking forward to with tiered rifts, is I want to see how far can I take the gear that I have, and how much can I do with it, you know, and just kind of prove to myself and, you know, to others, what, not really proving to others, because that's kind of a dumb reason to do things, but like, I want to see how far I can get with this wacky, you know, lightning build that I have. You know, I want to push it to its limits, and that's one of the things that is greatly appealing to me for tiered rifts. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way of doing it. And even though it was for power leveling Paragon, that almost kind of brings up what like the real Paragon, the mightiest of the grinders were doing of the crypt preppers, because that's almost, but that's exactly what they were doing. It was a different mindset of, all right, you're going to do this on MP10, you're going to need a lot of vit and health, and you're going to need a lot of life on hit on your weapon, plus life on hit gem, an amethyst. You know, why would you ever put an amethyst in your weapon? Shocking. But you had to do that. But you had to get a low DPS weapon, so you want to kill the wretched mothers, and they would get their 3 or 4 rounds of puking. They would do 3, then they would do another round of 3, and then I think they would do 2, and then I think they would do 1, and after that they wouldn't do anymore. So it was a totally different mindset. You'd go totally defensive, have to get a low DPS weapon, but one that has socket and like max life on hit. So you could just like go around, whack each one, get your health up, keep it up all the way, and maneuver your way through a unpredictable random crit. Not only to make sure you maximize the vomits per second. God. VPS. We just coded a new term that didn't exist until now, but it's way past its prime in usage. And then get to the second level, and then do it on the second level, and then make sure you had the portal open. It was actually rather complex compared to the gameplay that was going on back in vanilla.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of mindset. It makes you look at your gear almost 180 of what you're doing now, and it forces you, especially in group mentality, of not only looking at your gear differently, but what's going to be your role. Like, are we going to see a grand resurgence of the Suck Monk, as we saw, where they had just enough damage for the life on hit and everything to keep themselves alive, but they just ran in, just drawed everything to the middle, and then traditionally, back in vanilla, the CM wizard would just keep everything on lockdown, and then you have a whirlwind barber too, just go around in a circle, just kill everything, be the actual damage. But that was group composition. That was every character had a role. Are we going to see that kind of resurgence? Are we going to see not so much a CM wizard, but a wizard with like I forget the name, the weapon that allows wizards to have multiple hydras, and then get the and then the magistrate, I think it is, that lets the cold hydra periodically cast frost nova on top of the wizard's nova, and then frost burns along with frost armor, ice armor, frost armor. It's been such a long time since I've used it. Pardon me, fellow wizards. Don't hate me. But like, are we gonna see like that type of crowd control come around, and then our fellow witch doctors, the warlocks of Diablo? Are we gonna see them come around and try to make a with their piranhas and their guys? Are they gonna specialize that build into like a really group damage build, and then have the monks come back with either being a suck monk again, and then all this, have each class really specialize in a particular role or two, and that's why there can be different group compositions. I think that's what I'm looking forward to, because it kind of brings in this greater sense of purpose for clans and communities, and for roles. It just adds more complexity in a very simple way to a game that is already very complex, yet in a simple way, and just kind of breathes new life. I think that's a goal, a high goal I have for the development team, and I hope they match it and exceed it, because
most definitely,
yeah, because it would only bring more life to the game and only keep people playing more and more.
Yeah, like just like you said, group composition and makeup is going to be huge, you know, in determining how far you're going to get. Because I think it's going to be a matter of how high in rank can you get and how fast can you do it. And you've got both of these compounding things, and it gives you just enough reason to be like, yes, I want to perfect my gear. Yeah, I may be wearing a full set and I can stomp T6, but I need like, you know, 20 more strength on this item, and that will allow me to go to the next rift. And I think that's a feeling that I'm wanting the game to recreate. Like when I raided in World of Warcraft, sure, I hated wiping on a boss over and over and over again, but when you finally down that boss, and in the context of Diablo 3, it's going to be when you finally reach the next rank, when you just barely complete it within, I think, the 15 minutes that you're allowed to complete it in. It's going to be such a great feeling to know that you finally pushed the limits of what you can do, and you downed it, and then sooner or later that's going to be a piece of cake, and you're going to try and go for the next one, and it's just going to be this addictive, I have to get better gear so I can progress further kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be I would say, even though Diablo is a gear hunting game and everyone who gets this game goes in with that premise, I would say it would be a legitimizing the game, or giving a legitimate reason to continue progression beyond just get better loot just for the sake of getting better loot. It would actually there would be a purpose dangling underneath the carrot.
And that's why I don't think seasons are all that important. Seasons are necessary to, you know, kind of reset the game and make it feel fresh again. But seasons aren't really a form of endgame. They're the only form of endgame you have in the game right now is to beat, you know, Torment 6. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's relatively easy, you know, because they can do Rifted Forward and get like 1.5 billion shards per hour and, you know, get everything under the sun from Kadala or whatever. But, you know, the thing is, that's not really endgame. You're getting the good gear, yeah, for the bragging rights, but that's about as far as it goes.
You're doing the hamster wheel.
Yeah, it's like a hamster wheel. That's exactly what it's like. Whereas when you start playing tiered rifts, you know, your goal just fundamentally changes. I got to get higher in this tiered rift to prove myself to the rest of the people. And it's not just, hey, you have good gear and you were able to play this robotic playstyle for hours on end, you know, or build this awesome bot that can farm whatever you're looking to farm. It's now, hey, you got to have the skill to play that gear or play with that gear as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It gives so many possibilities to the end game that weren't even realized. And I would have been happy if they just added like scoreboards for Uber's kills. I mean, that's pretty much all I said. That meets the minimum requirement for endgame. But then Blizzard went above and beyond and introduced tiered rifts. You know, I'm sorry, I'm all giddy. I cannot wait until 2.1. I'm gonna spend all my time in the PTR.
Yeah, hopefully it'll come sooner than later.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we've said everything we needed to say and more. But before I start closing the show out, as always, I like to give the guests any last words if there's anything that they may have forgotten or want to sneak in.
So, this is my message to everybody who is listening. If you have an opportunity to get on the PTR, give Blizzard feedback about tiered rifts and how they're working out, because I think they're really intent on listening to feedback because they don't want to screw it up. Not to say anything bad, you know, in the context of screwing it up, like I think they're going to screw it up, but, you know, I think they just want to make it the best that it could possibly be, and it would be a tremendous help to put in the time and effort to help mold rifts into something that you're looking forward to.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. And don't try to save your buggy, glitchy ways of leveling up for
Exactly.
either seasons or rifts, because eventually they'll be figured out and they will be hotfix anyways. Don't try to, because then you'll be known as like a cheat in a season, and especially in a competitive environment, it will not help you.
Exactly.
So that goes out to my fellow streamers, YouTubers, personalities. Most, if not all, tend to abide by that because they know they're public officials. But like, don't try to sneak it in, because also it could affect other things, and if it saves everyone a day's worth of maintenance because they have to fix it with a patch versus a hotfix, then it's well worth it, I think, all around.
Exactly. Also,
All
those
right.
legendary gems, which we never talked about.
Yeah, well, we don't know
We
what
don't
those
know
are
anything
going to
about
be. Those are enigmas. They may not happen, you know, like rune stones are supposed to be actual stones, not like just that you found, like items, not like automatic give me that level unlocks. But yeah, we'll leave that for another time.
Okay.
If they materialize.
So,
But yeah, so that about sums it up. So we're gonna close out the show. As always, where can people find you that you're willing to give out?
where can
Like
people find me?
Yeah, like Twitter, Facebook, anything like that.
When I'm not neglecting it, I sometimes have a blog that I post on, drothvader.org. I also have my Twitter handle at Drothvader, my BattleTag Drothvader number 1215. If you want to just add me, you know, my friends list isn't full yet, so I could probably add a few more people before I hit the cap. That's pretty much about it. I'm not, you know, too big outside of Twitter and the official forums and my own little website. So,
All right. Well, I hope people find their way to you if they like the discussion that we had, and I'd like to thank you for this great discussion.
well, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to talk about 2.1 with me, because I really badly wanted to talk about 2.1 with somebody.
Well, this was an interview in my mind that was waiting for a particular subject matter. I felt this was the best one. So the pleasure is all mine. And great discussion. And yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the Scythe and Shield number 5 with special guest Drothvader. Thank you for taking part. And we will see you in a week or two, hopefully with that part 2 I hinted at, and we'll go there. So
All right.
have a good night, folks.
Bye.